All right, Metal Summoners, welcome back to another excellent episode. We are super stoked, as always, to kick off your weekend right in the middle of the week. Happy Hump Day, happy TMS Day. This is your Island of Misfit Toys with myself and with Angel. And thank you, as always, for tuning in, supporting the show, and showing ourselves and our guests a whole lot of love, as always. So we greatly appreciate you guys, as always. And we're going to jump right into it. We got a lot of fun things to talk about, and we're bringing a little bit of theatrical metal to our show today. We are being joined with Illusions of Grandeur. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the Metal Summit.
What's up, guys? Thanks so much for having us.
What's up, man?
Absolutely. No, happy to have you. It's great to see you again. As always, you know, we go back a little ways now, and just saw you not that long ago in Baltimore, and I get you back in Baltimore shortly. But how's everything been going so far?
It's going great. We have had so much going on. We just came off the European tour when we saw you. Actually, it was like 2 days.
2 days after we came back.
Yeah, 2 days after we came back from UK. We hit up the Fishhead Cantina for that show.
For Sonar Fest.
Yeah, was it the first? I can't remember.
No, we had played a Sonar Fest in Virginia before we left for the European tour.
That was the first one. That's why that's ringing a bell. Yeah, so we were doing that, and now, man, we're in the studio in between other shows because we have 2 more shows this weekend. We're in Delaware,
right?
at the Oddity Bar,
and then we're rocking the Crown on Saturday night. Both shows with Suicide Puppets.
Yep.
And we've been waiting a while to jam out with our friends in Suicide Puppets, so we're really looking forward to it.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's actually been a minute since I've seen Suicide Puppets myself, who I have seen before because I caught them, if I remember correctly, at Harrisburg, PA, when they were actually opening up for Wednesday 13.
Oh, right on.
That was a great show. That was at HMAC, right?
Yeah, but in like that little side bar.
Stage on Her.
Stage on Her. Boy, we know Stage on Her well.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it was interesting. I mean, it was a great show. It actually reminded me a lot of a now dead Baltimore venue called Sonar that had kind of their bigger area, and then had like the Talking Head, which was kind of like their little side sister room. And it was kind of interesting because you guys know Ron, and you know, Angel of course knows Ron because he's helped us with the show before as well. And he and I went, and at first we were trying to figure it out. So we had gone somewhere in the venue, and we could see the main room because we went up a pair of stairs because we were scheduled to do an interview. And we're looking at the stage. It's like, yeah, I guess they haven't had anybody let in yet. But I kind of look at him, and I'm like, Ron, I don't know, dude. This is kind of weird to me. There's nothing on the stage, though. There's like no excessive gear or anything major, dude. I don't know what the deal is. I know we're in the right place, but I'm beginning to think we're in the wrong place because the show's supposed to start in like 20 minutes, and like there's nothing good to go. And that's when we found out, because I'd never been in that little side room before, and that's when we found out that there's that little almost like speakeasy through a closed door kind of room.
That's cool.
Like just outside of like the dining room. And I was like, oh wow, this is giving me serious talking head Baltimore vibes. This is pretty cool.
That building, that HMAC, that it used to be a Y years and years ago. So we played there. God, was it 2018?
2018, yeah.
We did a photo shoot in the basement. It's funny because it was Paul Cochran, drummer for Defiant. His Cochran Photography did the photo shoot. So we were in the basement, and the basement's immense, right? So there's this line of like doors. It just looked like the coolest thing, right? Well, here behind the doors is an empty swimming pool.
Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy.
From what used to be the Y.
It looked like something from like a zombie movie or something because you walk down like this really creepy hallway. We actually got pictures back there.
Yeah.
And then as you go down, there's like no lights or anything, and like off to the left is like this completely empty, barren swimming pool. That's crazy.
Yeah, like there's a lot of history of that building. So I mean, yeah, and I think I actually got lost in it upstairs one time too. So you're not alone.
Is that just where you dump the bodies of past members you don't like?
Yeah.
Don't say anything.
You didn't hear that, Metal Summoners.
No, that's a lie, and I'll deny it.
We'll allow it. No, that's super duper cool. I'm actually going to be back checking out that venue. I believe it's late August, I think, for the second leg of the Alisana Vampires Everywhere tour.
Oh, yes.
Because I love Vampires Everywhere. I've known Michael now for years, and he's been on the show. His drummer Jesse was on the show a few months back, and so it'll just kind of be pretty cool to hang out with my buddies. But the cool thing about Alisana is they're Maryland boys, because they took their name literally from Alisana Street in Little Italy in Baltimore, and just changed around the spelling and stuff. So I'd always been familiar with them, but never really seen them live before until last year's Vampires Everywhere and Alisana tour, because Vampires Everywhere got invited back for another tour. And
that's so cool.
It was cool. I liked Alisana a lot. I was like, you know what, this is cool. I would definitely see them again. And lo and behold, a year later, and with my friends back on the tour, I get to see them again. So that'll definitely be cool to also just be back at HMAC, because, yeah, that place is rad. Yeah,
they're doing a lot of great shows. Chris Warner, one of the owners, I guess, he's always posting about it. He's so excited. He's like a big fan. You can tell he's a big fan of the shows that are going on there, and it's really cool when you see not just like the employees and like the booking agent, but like the owners be like, "Oh my God, I get to go see such and such tonight."
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. So you guys are we're also talking about being in the studio. So does that sounds like all the soundings of new Illusions of Grandeur music?
Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah, we are working on, I guess it's an EP that we're doing that hopefully will come out September, October. We may have a surprise in September where we might be going to a certain island continent.
We'll see.
We'll see. And so we want to get some new music out. We haven't had new music out since The Siren came out in October 2021.
We're slacking.
We put a single out June 6th before we left for the UK called Midnight. And we shot a video for that in March. Over the course of like 2 weeks, we shot our new video and did our new single and put that out. But we know we have a lot of fans that are asking for like, hey, when's like the next installment of the story coming? So we decided not to have them wait for a full album. We're going to do an EP and then go back out on the road on that. And then sometime in 2024, we're going back in to do the third part album.
Yeah, so it's gonna have 2 parts. The last album
will be in 2 parts.
Absolutely. And so, a thing that's that I kind of thought of when you were talking about the release of The Siren that I just find like particularly interesting. And we've talked endlessly to other guests that had music coming out the year before and how difficult that was, obviously, where the timing is just particularly awful, where it's like, yeah, we have this great album that we're super proud of and can do nothing about it and can't show it to anybody outside of course, buying it, streaming it, and so on and so forth. Talk a little bit about how 2021 was for you guys with The Siren coming off of like the blackout. Was The Siren originally kind of planned for 2020, or did it just kind of naturally land in 2021?
Kind of. I mean, we actually wrote all the music for it in 2019. And then because we're fortunate and we have our own studio, when 2020 happened, we just like took the opportunity to go in and like re-record vocals and like really kind of take our time with everything.
But it was it was ready.
Yeah, it was technically ready. But I actually think like in our case, it sort of helped us.
It paid off because
we got to dive back into stuff. And then we also did 2 of the songs with David Ivory at his studios.
Oh.
So that was really cool too. So had it come out in 2020 like it was supposed to, we would have missed that opportunity. So in a way, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, I would say, for the album. Obviously,
I mean, we took the pandemic time and like slowed our roll.
Yeah,
it was because in 2019 we played in the Ukraine and Germany and France, England, and we were like, and we came off tour like with a head full of steam, like to get the album done. And in 2020 we had a June tour set up to go back to the Ukraine. Of course, the pandemic put the kibosh on that, and we were kind of left sitting on our hands. And that's like Siren said, we decided to re-record some songs, revisit stuff. Like, let's idle time is the devil's hand. So we were like, let's be busy in the studio. Let's be writing. I think we demoed a bunch more material.
Yeah. We wound up having a lot more material too than we needed. So some of that actually crept into.
Yeah, we whittled it down from 38 songs to 12.
Yeah. So we have stuff like material for
there's
the
some
next
stuff
album
bleeding
either.
into the next one. But we were so excited. Like, and then October 2021 came around. We got a new record deal with Revulsion of Spirit Records. That was great. And then we were all set to return to the Ukraine, which we have a lot of fans over there. And we, it's kind of, we call it like our market. There's not a lot of bands that go there. It's like us, Ginger, Five Finger Death Punch, and like a bunch of other.
I think Korn's been there a couple times.
Yeah, so we were so excited, and then Putin put the kibosh on that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we were just happy to we were lucky we hooked up with Offensive and did some touring in America and a bunch of other great bands that
Blind Anxiety, right?
Yeah, Blind James
Anxiety.
from Blind Anxiety, and we managed to do like a lot of good touring in America, but and then we
Hang with us for a second, fans. It looks like we might have had a slight little hiccup there. Let me just make sure. Oh, right. There we go. We got you back.
Perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been to answer your question in the longest way humanly possible. It's been a long time, and so we want to get some new music out. But yeah, kind of sucked like to just have to sit on the out, but.
Absolutely, for sure. Actually, one of our co-hosts is gonna be kicking himself a little bit when he sees this. He's just taking a little bit of personal time away from the show. But our co-host Bobby is very close with David Ivory, and you would have just triggered the shit out of him if he just heard you say that. He'd be like, "You worked with David? We got to talk. What do you think of this? What do you think of that?" So we'll let Bobby know. Be like, man, you took that night off from the show, man, and it bit you.
I love David Ivory. He makes me laugh, and we had a lot of fun together. He pushed me to my limits, which is actually good. I love when a producer does that because they wind up pulling stuff out of you that you didn't know you had, kind of thing. So he was a lot of fun. He was very patient with me. He made me laugh.
There's two videos actually on our
YouTube
on
channel.
our YouTube of us working with him. One's at our old studio, Valley Road, and then the other one is
at his studio
at Ivory Productions out in Ardmore,
Plymouth Meeting,
whatever. It was a good time. He's a great guy, super talented.
Oh, that's super awesome for sure. Yeah, well, that's definitely awesome. We love the fact that we love talking to bands in general, but it's so awesome when we get to talk about like new music coming out too, because while Angel and I pride ourselves on like having just really entertaining and just great conversation shows, like it's exciting for us to see the artists excited about their upcoming music.
Yeah, dude, we're really excited. I feel like we've learned a lot. Like what this has been, for Sam and I, we've been on this journey since 2015 together, and I would like to think that as musicians and as a band, we're just like continuously growing and getting better, like learning how to write music better together. I know Sam's getting better at like putting the actual song together. So I think we just keep heading up. That's,
right? we're refining our art.
Yeah.
Isn't it cool? Like when you hear like a great album from a band that you like, and then like the next album, there's a progression.
Yeah. Like you can see it.
I mean, they still have
their movement.
They still have their sound, but you're like, oh shit. Like, it gets better, you know what I mean? And it's always cool to see it. So that's we're not just trying to re-record the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
We're always trying to grow and develop the sound and come up with, but keeping the core of what we do. We're not trying to like all of a sudden gotta have like an acoustic album. But it's
I'm gonna rap.
Yeah, we're gonna rap. We're gonna change a little bit. Checker flow,
that's when Maggie gets changed from the siren to the silent.
Yeah. Get my FUBU gear on.
Hell yeah! Get your girl. Gotta get your girl.
I'm from DC. I could probably make that work.
You could pull it off. Yeah.
That's
you
awesome.
have your moments.
No, for sure. And one more part in this segment before I kick it up to Angel for a bit, and as well as any questions that have come in from the Metal Summoners. Since you talked about being on this journey together since 2015, why don't you let not only the Metal Summoner fans, but also any of your own fans that aren't maybe totally familiar with your history, talk a little bit about how Illusions of Grandeur came together, the name and the styles and the vision.
So Sam and I have been working together since like 2012.
Yeah.
We were in a different band together, and good band, we were having a good time, but
toured the hell out of that band.
Well, we always wanted to like do something. He was like, we should do something like more suited for your voice. And I was kind of getting tired of like singing other people's songs.
Yeah.
And I was able to write in that band a little bit, but I have a theater background. So I have a really hard time like standing still on stage. And I've always kind of wanted to like bring like the theater aspect into like a heavy rock metal band. So we decided to put together our own band in 2015 and sort of gear it towards my voice and my background of theater. I love the makeup and the dress up. And like, if you go back, I was just thinking this too, like if you look on our YouTube channel and you go back, like you could see things like outfits I used to wear, the way our makeup has transformed. And there's actually a whole episodal series of me explaining all the songs off the first album.
Yeah, the songs of the siren.
Yeah, I forgot about it until I was on our YouTube channel. I was like, oh my God, look at that. Like, and it's interesting to see the evolution, because not only has the music evolved, but so have like the costumes and the makeup and everything. And the name of the band, Illusions of Grandeur, actually comes from I'm gonna age myself here, but Craigslist. So way back when I was looking for bands, like before I even knew CM, you always go and you see like ads for bands. And it just came across so many that were like, no illusions of grandeur here. Like, I just want to jam, man. Like, and so many of them said that, like, don't worry, we don't have any illusions of grandeur. And I was like, whoa, why not? Like, this is all I want to do. And I was like, holy shit, that's a really freaking cool band name. Like, Illusions of Grandeur. And then he was like, oh, we call it IOG. I was like, oh, that's perfect. So that's kind of where the band name came from. And like, to me, it sounds sort of like grandiose. And it also doesn't like pigeonhole us into anything. It's not like very metal. It's not very rock or whatever, it's, it kind of leaves some room for interpretation, which I also think is good for the theater aspect of it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it sounds big.
Yeah.
But so 2015, we kind of blinked, and here we are in 2023. It's crazy. But yeah, if you go on our YouTube channel, you can kind of like go on the little journey of all the videos and stuff, and the music videos and everything, and lyric videos, and it's kind of interesting. You can see some of our pretty big shows overseas. In the Ukraine, we play in a really big festival called Rock Balaba, and like you just kind of because every year you're doing shows and you're moving and you're making more music and you're in the studio and making videos, and you kind of forget. And like, I look back and I'm like, wow, like I just said to him, I was like, man, that show was awesome. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
like,
we took like a pause button the other day because as we're writing new music, one of the things that we write a lot. We write a lot. Like, we're at 38 songs for the last record. I think we have about 40 songs for the new album. Like, not all completed, but they're like 40 formed ideas.
Yeah.
And you never, like, I sometimes think, like, did we do that before? You know what I mean? Like, wait a minute. So, like, it helps to go back into the archive. And one of the simplest ways to do that is just, like, go back through, like, our YouTube channel, or, like, we did a lot of, like, making of and stuff like that. And just, like, oh, yeah, this, that. And we came across, like, Smelia, which was a festival we played. And, like, just some really cool gigs.
It's like cool moments, like, you forget about,
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. Like, I remember when for me is like the cheapest form of conversation, but sometimes it's fun. Like, oh my God, remember that show?
Well, it makes you grateful too, and like appreciative of like the things you've gotten to experience.
It brought up opening for Dope and Motor Grader.
Oh yeah, a long time ago. That was like, Reverb.
Yeah, and hanging out with Virus, and it was just, I was like, oh my God, they were crazy times. I totally forget about that, but there's so much more to come.
Yeah, it's a never-ending journey.
That's awesome. I mean, I've always been a big Dope fan. I've gotten to know AC very well over the years. I actually recently got because we're gonna get more into this CM later, because you and I always have to have our time to nerd out over gear. But but I just got my hands on. It's not a replica or a signature AC bass. But AC's been great to me over the years. I'm a huge coffee junkie. I really legitimately love his coffee company. So I'm just because Catfight Coffee, if you coffee people are out there, check it out. It really, really is really good shit. Anyway, I really do admire AC, not only as a bass player in particular, but also a guitar player. I was so happy when I talked to him years ago on the Dope Reunion. Well, the classic era version of Dope Reunion tour, because he was fresh in the Misfits at that time, and he and I when it was at Fishhead Cantina actually, and he and I did a professional interview, but we did our interview over dinner.
That's
and
awesome.
so we just did a lot of just talking, and he was so excited about playing in the Misfits and the backstory about how he actually got involved in there, which is a really, really cool thing in general. But anyway, I've always admired him, the way he carries himself. I was a ridiculous, I still have the poster right over there. But I was a huge Trash Light Vision fan. I really loved that band.
I love Trash Light Vision, yeah.
But he's known for playing Gibson SGs, especially as basses. And I always loved his red one. And while I've never come across a Gibson SG in red, I did just get my hands on an Epiphone SG in that red with the black pick guard. And anybody who knows gear just in general, Epiphone is good stuff. I mean, it's Gibson's sister company. It's just not like the official. Yes.
I was going to say, we have
Angel, hang tight, man, because I'm definitely... There it is!
Yeah. Dude, we have so much gear.
Yep.
It's my favorite. Ignore alien orders.
Keep it up there for a second, CM, because Angel's about to make you the big picture. But yeah, like that same type thing.
This is a great guitar.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, if you just got one of these, definitely play the shit out of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ignore alien orders.
No worries. My pickups actually happen on mine. My pickups actually happen to be higher because they're right underneath the neck on mine.
Yeah, this is probably a very different. This is like, I think it's a 96 Epiphone. Like it's an Epiphone, like they call it custom shop. But Epiphone, they're great guitars, and I love this guitar. I've done a lot of recording on this guitar, so.
Yeah, I looked mine up. The bass I just got's a 2010. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, so it's got some legs on it as well, which is super duper cool. But yeah, so I was super excited to like get I name a lot of my basses in particular. But yeah, so of course I had to name that one AC, and I've been super lazy about putting up a picture of it, but eventually I will like bring it back out and I'll put it down and I'll take a cute little photo of it and put it up on Instagram and be like, yeah, here, more guitar porn. Like,
SG basses are the shit. They are awesome. I do not own one. I have an SG guitar, but I do not own an SG bass, and I've always wanted one. So,
oh boy.
Yeah.
There's something, the funny thing is I like them as guitar bodies. I love them as a bass body for some reason. That the devil horn design, just kind of the way it's put together, it's funny. I'm not the world's biggest Fender guitar fan, but Fender basses, not so much Fender per se, because I've got certain snobbish tendencies about how I like my basses in particular to look, and I'll admit Fender as the headstock, I'm really never been a fan. I don't really like them. I don't like the way they're shaped. I think it looks like a nutsack is hanging off the top of your guitar. But here's my disclaimer though, for all you Fender people out there, before you start sending hate mail to the TMS message board, they are time tested. They sound great. You can't fuck with them. There's a reason why Fender guitars and basses, from everyone to Queen to all the biggest bands, that's a standby. I just have stylistic issues with certain things. I like things to look a certain way. I love the body of Fender bodies on basses. I just prefer the headstocks to be like a little bit more like sharper or sleeker designed. I like them cut more that way. But anyway, before we get into the official gear conversation, which will come up at a later segment, I've been talking with John from Veer, who played your guys' show at Sonar Fest as well, because he's got his own like guitar company and stuff like that. And I've been talking with him about doing some custom stuff for me. And I'm sure that my girlfriend Megan is already rolling her eyes if she can hear me. Great. Just what we need in our little ass apartment. You with more guitars that don't fit in here. But I did talk to him about, because I do want a really nice like white but with red blood splatter. And I do need a Ouija board bass because I just kind of need it. But that conversation of detail is for a future segment, because Angel, You have been oh so patient as usual with me as I get long-winded. So we're going to kick it up to our beloved Angel and the Metal Summoners. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. Angel, it's all you, my guy.
Hey, let's kick off with questions about wiping catalogs off the face of the earth.
Ooh, I like it. Let's go.
If you could, this one's from Brian. If you could wipe one band or musician's catalog off the face of the earth, who would it be?
Oh man, this is like that thing. I just saw something on this.
It's like the question you can't answer.
Yeah, it's like the question you can't answer. That's like
you
know,
still beat your kids?
Yeah.
There's no way to answer.
It's like asking a comedian which comedian he thinks is no good.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
a really tough question. This is why they asked it.
Here you go. Well, since we're on a metal show, I feel okay saying this. Although I can,
shit, she's gonna name a band. Here we go.
Oh no, I'm not gonna name a band. I'm gonna name a whole fucking genre.
Oh wow, okay.
Country. I'm just.
There you go.
I could do without it. I mean, like that's some really old school country. There's
modern
some
country.
Stuff. Yeah, modern country. A lot of modern country. I don't know. I'm
you
just
can't
not.
Get rid of like the.
That's what I'm saying. Like old school country can
Johnny
stay.
Cash.
But anything, how about just like any new country? Just
Florida Georgia line.
Knock it out.
Nice.
Since we're on a metal show, I feel okay saying that. I'm still gonna get some hate somewhere for that, but
yeah,
you know. So hopefully that satisfies.
Montgomery Gentry.
No,
okay.
No, just like...
Brian just put up a comment that says, "Country is fine, but spare Johnny Cash."
Yeah,
I agree.
The man
I love
Johnny Cash.
I love that song he did.
Old school country can stay. Old school country is all good.
You gotta spare Johnny Cash. Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash.
It's just like whatever this new country.
You know, Waylon Jennings.
Yeah.
For that matter, Scooter Jennings.
I don't know. I can name a new country artist.
All right, hit me with another question.
Is there any new country artists? Who gives a damn?
Name one. I don't even know.
Okay.
It all turned into metal and rock years ago, which is fine by me. It just, you know.
You either have to compliment Kid Rock or Fred Durst.
I'm going to go with Fred Durst.
I compliment Kid Rock for his ticket sale attitude because he's already got a shit ton of money. And he said, I don't know what concert it was, so forgive me because I'm not a huge Kid Rock fan. Yeah, it was like a $20 tour where he like literally just charged
$10, $5, $10 for parking, $5 for beers, $20 for tickets.
Yeah, so it was like totally reasonable, you know, realistic. So there's my Kid Rock compliment.
All right, I'll change my answer to Kid Rock.
Sorry, Nick Myers. I know you like Fred Durst. I'm sorry.
I knew Fred Durst when he was a tattoo artist down at 2nd and South. So many years.
I don't like hot dog flavored water, so.
It's just a matter of finding a temperature and flavor that suits you.
Yeah. I think it's more connotation than it's mental health, but.
All right, what do we got, Angel? Because I can't read that.
Dang. Okay.
How about the Johnny Cash question? Johnny Cash
what was Johnny Cash's first name? Damn, I don't know the answer to that one.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
John Cash?
I don't know. I mean, we did just discuss that I don't like country music, right?
Right.
That's like what color was Thomas Brown Horse?
It's
like Brian. Remember, they did spare Johnny Cash, but that doesn't exclude the dismissal of country part of the segment, though.
It means I don't really know too much about his history. Let's put it that way.
I know he recorded at Sun Records for years, and I actually in my tour wardrobe I have a Man in Black T-shirt that I wear. So that I love.
I don't know what his.
I get a lot of compliments on that and my ABBA T-shirt.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
Nice.
We almost didn't get out of the Dublin airport.
Oh my God, that was awesome because I'm with him, right? So we're in the Dublin airport, and this.
That would be a good story.
Yeah, well, this TSA attendant, she sees his ABBA shirt and she's like, "Oh, ABBA," and like starts talking to him. I was like, "Oh yeah, he always gets compliment on that shirt." Completely fucking ghosts me like I wasn't even there. I was like, okay.
But the best part is, I don't know the guy's name, but he was the actor from Harold and
Oh,
Kumar.
Harold and Kumar.
He's standing behind us.
It was Kumar.
Oh
Dude,
my!
I turned around, right, and I go to Chris. I was like, "That's a dude from Harold and Kumar." He's like, "Nuh-uh." I was like, "I'm telling you." I turned around, and he looks down at the ground. I was like, "Hey man, what's up?" I didn't.
You guys had Cal Penn standing behind you guys.
Yes. Well, we were right in the line for TSA at Dublin Airport. I literally turned around and I looked, and there's a sign that says "No cameras," like no phones, no cameras.
They take
like,
their security
shit.
over there is it's not just the TSA in America, but security in Dublin Airport is like a fucking maximum security prison.
And Heathrow. Yeah.
But so that was actually a really fun trip flight back, because we had him standing behind us, and then I'm walking through Newark Airport and I bump into Alex Skolnick.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, Alex, and we just started shooting shit. I took a picture because we had to get our
bumped
gear.
Into who?
Alex Skolnick from Testament.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, there's actually a picture on my Facebook.
That was funny too, because I turned around. I was like, we were getting on the escalator
I
down.
just walked away.
I turned around. He's gone. I'm like, where the fuck did you go?
We were talking about how he had just come from Hellfest. So
Yeah,
we're shooting the shit. So that was a good long 24 hours.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Getting more used to that.
Getting back to it.
Yeah.
So
just like the jet lag thing.
We lost Jay. Jay ran away.
We did lose Jay. So sorry, I don't know Johnny Cash's real name. I guess that's
John Cash, isn't it?
That all led back to that.
I don't know. I've seen the Joaquin Phoenix film.
Walk the Line?
Walk the Line.
Yeah,
I don't know. Is that
Is
trivia?
it in there? Yeah.
I don't know. Hello, I'm
know.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I don't
know.
Oh, hold on 1 second.
Sure. It'd be so funny if that's what you said. What's Johnny Cash's real name? Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, that's
if you could pick one artist. All right, here's the other question. Sorry. You can pick one musical artist, past or present, to record an album with you. Who would it be?
Oh man, that's a tough one because there's a couple.
Here we go. We're coming back.
Do we have Angel? Wait, I don't know. We have no video for Angel.
Can you hear us?
There it is.
Right.
Okay.
I would say Korn.
Oh, you're supposed to let me say mine.
Oh, okay.
Jonathan Davis. I love Jonathan Davis. I've always, since I was a little kid.
Which explains a lot.
Yeah, it does. I guess it does explain a lot about me. I don't know. I just think when he sings, you can feel exactly what he's going through. He emotes just, and I love like the risks he takes on shit. Like, he'll be singing and then all of a sudden he'll hit some crazy weird note or like vocal change and you're like, what the? But it's awesome and amazing. And I don't know. He's gotten me through a lot of hard times, and the whole band too. I mean, I'm really upset that Fieldy is gone. That's actually crippling and heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
That they'll never be the same live again. But yeah, the whole band really. I know Monkey and Head say they're not very good guitar players, but they wouldn't be Korn without them.
They're Korn.
And then of course.
So.
And then of course, why can't I never remember the drummer's name? Because he's
Ray.
Yeah,
Ray's from Pittsburgh.
I know he's not the original drummer, but Ray definitely takes the band to a whole new level. So for me, and I mean, there are other, like, there are female artists. Like, I love Maria Brinkman in this moment, and I would absolutely love to do something with her, even if it was just to have the opportunity to open a show as she was coming through.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love to do that. But if I actually got the opportunity to, like, be in the studio and do something with somebody, I would Jonathan Davis.
Have they officially said that it's a wrap on Fieldy in Korn, or are we just kind of taking it at face value for the time being that he's been gone for so long?
It's if you go on his Instagram, it's pretty obvious
sad
that he's not.
I mean, he has the other band.
He's got some other. Yeah, he's got another band. It's just pretty obvious he's not returning. But
Oh,
you can always hope. You
Does
know
he?
that that Head was out of the band for 8 years, and then
yeah.
he came back, and
Yeah.
it was kind of like a glorious reunion. I just saw that 24. I think it was 2014 Mayhem. It was them and Avenge, and it was awesome. But yeah, like the sound. I'd seen them without him. I've seen them with him. They sound better with him. To me.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, because they've been talking. Obviously, I remember when he took his hiatus, and I remember for a little while
We're
when.
back?
Yep,
We're
you're
back.
back.
We're back.
I was like, yeah, I remember when Fieldy took the time off, and they had some fill-in bass players, and I thought it was very, very cool that Robert Trujillo's son,
Yes.
12 years old, was playing with Korn on like
Dude, it
these
was
massive.
really good too.
He's an excellent
It was
musician.
really good. Yeah.
He comes from good stock.
He does.
He does.
His bass had like 3 strings on it, I think, too, in one of the pictures.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that was pretty cool, and I like Korn just fine. I think Jonathan, like you said, is absolutely fantastic. I love the stuff he did on the Queen of the Dam soundtrack.
Hell yeah.
That stuff is just That stuff's just bulletproof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't just in recent like months or most of this year. I'm aware that Fieldy's out of Korn, but watching it closely, it kind of slipped off my radar a little bit. So when you brought it up, I was like, has it kind of gone live? And I didn't realize that because I don't follow his IG, so that's probably why it kind of like slipped by me.
They had a progression of albums that they were making. It's like I was saying earlier. It's like a band gets better and better and better and better. And I can't think of the album.
The Nothing.
The Nothing
was fucking amazing.
and the launch they did for that was like live, surrounded by their fans in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And it was really raw,
Yeah.
and it was great because it's like they got like you could. It was just them doing their thing, and they had a dude wrapped in like wires hanging from the ceiling, which was pretty cool too. Yeah, and then Fieldy left, and the new album's kind of like for me,
yeah.
kind of took a little dive.
It doesn't sound like Korn anymore.
No, 'cause Korn's all about the bass.
Fieldy's sound is just so strong.
Yeah, they're out there doing it, but it's Fieldy, come back, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Get your your poop, come back.
And I still want to keep it with Angel's segment. I had to step out for just a second, so I just want to make sure that we covered it. CM, did you talk about who you would like to play with in the studio?
See, I think who would I like to play with in the studio?
So many.
There's
so many different genres and time periods. And
I'm lucky because I'm an engineer, so I get to travel and go to different studios and do stuff. And who would I like to work with in the studio? I'd like to work with Kevin Shurko. Not really a band, but a producer, or Kane Shurko. That's like my So
I'd go with that.
I think that their production style has influenced so many great bands from In This Moment to working with Ozzy Osbourne, Five Finger Death Punch. He worked for Mutt Lange. So he's got the guy's just got tenure, man. And he really knows how to produce a band and work really well with them. So I would pick a producer over a band because maybe I'm a sound snob. I don't know.
No, that's cool, man. And I love that. Like you mentioned seeing them playing with Avenged, and you guys remember Megan, of course, from when we were at Fishhead, and Avenged is her. She's waving at you guys right now.
Hey, Megan.
I love Avenged. Matter of fact, we drew inspiration. There's a song on the Siren album called "The Prophet."
She has to say hi. She had to say
hey,
hi.
girl. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
We're good.
Yeah, Avenged is her guys, man.
Yeah, we drew inspiration from them a little bit. There's one of the faster songs on the Siren called "The Prophet." We finished working on it. And
you wrote it, and I was like, this is insanely fast. And I was like, he's like, think Avenge. I was like, oh, I got it. Yeah, like that's all he had to say. I was like, I got it.
Sometimes you have to come at the and that's what I think Avenged is great at, coming at vocals in a different slant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not always the same. It's different. They can go really fast and they'll sing in cut time, or we'll sing
that's
with
what I did. I sang in cut time for that because the music itself is so fast.
Yeah,
what's the BPM?
175.
Yeah, the BPM on that's 175. I was like, what do you want to rap this?
We talk about Matt's transition over the years from albums to albums vocally all the time.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's super talented, and I like that they take risks, and and also like they bounce back from losing Rev, and that's a hard goddamn thing to do because that guy was a musical fucking force. You know what I mean? Like you don't run into drummers like that every day. And they manage to come back strong, and do it with like reverence, man. Like really like paying really cool reverence to him, and continuing to grow their sound. So they hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah, totally. She was trying to show it off before. She might not have had enough screen so she's gonna try again. But they'd go.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
It's Jimmy though.
Oh,
so
it's
literally the death bat skull, but with Jimmy's hair and his labrae piercing, like right there.
Oh, that's cool.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's
you should walk around with your back out all the time.
She's definitely got her fair share of tops, and I love it and approve, but a fair share of her tops that definitely let Jimmy's star shine. So
that's awesome.
Definitely
that's a great.
And she and I are both big like Joey Jordison fans because we actually met each other at a Wednesday 13 concert, and but we bonded a lot over our both love for the Murder Dolls and stuff like that. Like I've got the giant Murder Doll on my arm.
Awesome. Oh yeah, I remember. I noticed that the other night when we were at Fishhead.
Oh, nice. But yeah, so but that's her guy. And you also mentioned Five Finger Death Punch, and she's also a big supporter of Ivan Moody because his love of the military and how much he always looks out for the fans and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, he really does. I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, so. They bring it strong. They get a lot of shit.
They do, but nothing but net, man. They keep, you can't deny it. They're out there too, like, oh, we hate them, but they're fucking packing arenas. Like, yeah, you hate them, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody's lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100% for sure.
It's
crazy with that kind of stuff. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, look, if you hate somebody, fine, but don't get caught at the gig. Kind of a thing too, like
what he said.
No shit.
Yeah, here's one thing, and then I'll kick it right back up to Angel. Is I have a very, very strong. Sometimes I can't connect with a band, or it takes me a second, or whatever. I have a very strong and aggressive stance on allowing a band to change my mind. So
nice.
I am a huge Steel Panther fan.
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely not a Steel Panther fan at first. I knew them as Metal Shop. I knew them as Metal School. But the way it kind of came to me as they were sort of put on my radar was that they were a parody band to make fun of the genre. And I'm very loyal to glam metal. My existence in music is like goth industrial and glam, like that's what makes my world go round. Like my Mount Rushmore of bands is probably Motley Crue, Kiss, Typo Negative, and the 69 Eyes with a added like
we're back
with a is Motley, Kiss, Typo Negative, and the 69 Eyes with probably him like forcing their way onto there as well. But anyway, so I was like, fuck these guys, man. They're going to make fun. They're going to be making fun of a genre I care that much about. Screw these dudes. Well, I'll allow you to change my mind. And I remember getting their first album as Steel Panther, like on sale. So like not long after it had come out. So I was like, okay, let me give this a listen. And I was like, okay, the songs are catchy. I'm into that. They're kind of funny. I have a sense of humor. But I'm like, well, I gotta say, as long as this is them, they know how to play their instruments. I can definitely give it that. And it was a solid record. It was that first Feel the Steel album. It wasn't until like a very short time after that I saw them live. I actually waited on them at the in my restaurant of the hotel I work for before they played at Ram's Head.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Catching them at Ram's Head in Baltimore, and then I was literally hooked. Their live show was so good, so fan interactive, so funny, and I could tell that they cared about what they were doing. So I was like, you know what? I'm in it to win it, and I've been in it to win it ever since. Now, on the flip side, and don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing them now, but a band that took me a long time to even be willing to give a shot to was the Pretty Reckless. And it's not to be disrespectful to them, but just at the time, I was having a very hard time connecting with what I felt was the idea of this kind of bleached blonde actress who seemed to wake up one day deciding she wanted to be a metal chick. And then she's playing these big shows and all that kind of stuff. So, and again, it's not sour grapes, and I'm not judging her, but it was weird as like just a metal guy and a music fan to see this band kind of feel like they burst onto the scene. So I remember talking to my buddy Bob, who has been following them the whole time, and I value Bob's opinion. Yeah. And I was like, tell me about the Pretty Reckless. What do I not know about them? Because this is how I'm feeling. And he's like, I'll tell you, man, I've been following them since day one, and they've been getting steadily better.
They have. Well, she was a child actress too, Jay. So you have to understand, like, her mom had a lot to do with the reason that she started acting.
Yeah,
so
Cindy Lou Who. And...
Right. So since she was a very little girl, this was her mom's path for her. Mm-hmm. And she said, like, she's always loved the Beatles. She's always loved Janis Joplin and like all the, the old school, the Doors, all this old school rock and roll, and she was pushed into acting as a really young child. So you do it, she don't know any better, but she says that this has like always been in her heart, because I'm a huge Pretty Reckless fan, but I would agree that I've been following them since the beginning. And
you sold
well, and I remember telling him too, because he's like, isn't that the chick from Gossip Girl? And I was like, hold up, pump the brakes, because and then I told him too, I was like, well, she was pushed into acting as a very young child, and this is something she's always wanted to do.
Around and then
and you were his Bob.
Exactly. Exactly. I was. And now you can see like the transformation.
I call her Robert though. I don't go with
Very and that's the thing. So I went and I caught them live, because I will always give them the respect of changing my mind.
Right.
And I got to tell you, the band was tight. I loved her tone. Yep. As becoming a full-on fan, she didn't get me.
That's
but
fair.
As far as enjoyment of the show, I can't say that I would, kick down the box office door for a ticket. But any opportunities to see them again, I wouldn't hate. They just didn't really grip me like that. Like Steel Panther, it just locked in. It was on my radar. So anytime they come to town, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm there. Versus the Pretty Reckless, where I'm like, hey, if they're playing, I'm down. Sounds great. But they didn't quite get me like they got you. But along the lines of CM, where I'm like, you know what? I get it, and I'm down for it.
Yeah. Right on. That's cool. I like that, Jay. I like that mentality about music. That's cool.
100%. Angel, let's kick it right back up to you, my guy.
Yeah, my question is, could we ever see, because I know you guys do theater rock, so could we see you guys bring that in to doing a concept album?
A concept album? Yeah. Well, I mean, like the whole saga is kind of like that.
Yeah, our albums are right now. We're in a 3-part. I like it at the Star Wars. I do this a lot so people kind of understand. That's from my book. It's called the Siren Saga, and the first album was called The Songs of the Siren. It was kind of like, this is the story.
It introduces the characters and kind of like the setting. And I would say that like the first album, more so than the second album, kind of is very story intricate.
Theatrical.
It is very theatrical. and it like kind of sets the stage. The second album sort of takes place in the underworld.
The Siren.
So that's the Siren. It's now you know the characters. The story itself is basically that the Siren has been banished from Mount Olympus because it was her job to protect Persephone, and that's where I pulled directly from the stories like of mythology where Persephone gets taken by Hades, and I did that so that there was some connection. Like people would be like, "Oh, I kind of know that story. Like I've heard that somewhere," and then I sort of put in my own personal experiences and made up parts of the story.
It's double entendre.
Yeah, there's a lot of double entendres in it. So in the second album, we're in the underworld. We're fighting Hades. We meet the wolf because that's one of the songs off the album. So you go, when you're in the underworld, we cross the River of Styx, which is the last song on the first album, Through the Styx. And then we're in the underworld fighting Hades. You meet the wolf. You meet the prophet in the dark forest. You don't know if he's there for your help or like if it's good or bad. We have to get past the wolf.
So it's all a concept. It's 3 albums that are each a chapter, and the new album coming up will be The Siren Rises.
So The Siren Rises is a 2-parter, and the first part, can I say it?
I don't know. It's not like the story.
Okay, so there's 2 parts of the story that we're working on now, but basically her goal is to gain her wings back because sirens are winged and they're of the air and they're of the water. They either have wings or they're sirens like a typical siren and that most people know in the ocean, like a mermaid, which that's a skewed perception though.
But I do love that question, Angel, because we get that. So we discovered a while back, and it was a really cool discovery that we have, and we're super grateful. We have levels of fans. So we have casual listeners, people that are like, "Oh, yo, I dig that song. I caught you guys live. I like your light show. I like this, whatever." Then we have fans that are kind of like, "Oh yeah, the Siren and like the Archangel and Dominos and the Aries. They know the names. Dominos, sorry, and they know the names. I can't pronounce shit, but they know the names, and they kind of get. And then we have like a deep level of fan who's like, "Okay, so this song when it's happening, and you're in this section of like going in like a D&D thing."
Yeah.
So it's
like
been,
a D&D thing.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting that people actually pick up the breadcrumbs that connect the songs. And that, for me, there's been a lot of them. I'm not going to try and like.
It's more overseas.
Yeah, more so
overseas.
It's been pretty interesting. So yeah, they're all, to answer like in a short, they're all concept albums. We're in the Siren story right now, the Siren saga. And then once we wrap up the Siren Rises, part 1 and 2, we'll see where we go from there.
Awesome. So what's the plan for after you guys do? Oh, quick. Sorry, let me rephrase the question. After the EP comes out, are there any plans to do touring in support of the EP? And can we expect fans in Europe to see you guys again?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
We're thinking by December.
Yeah, there's possibility of us being back in December. Definitely next year, without a doubt. So we will definitely be back supporting the EP and maybe even some stuff off the other portion of the album too. We'll see. I always push these guys to.
Yeah, she does.
I'm like, come on, new song. Got to do the new song.
Hopefully by September, before we start this next leg of touring, because we have some summer dates. We've kind of peppered them, but we're spending a lot of time in the studio. And then we go out in September. There could be a surprise announcement coming. I wish we could talk about it because it's killing me.
Yeah, no, we don't want to talk about it just in case it doesn't happen. I'll just be completely honest.
Visas and stuff. Yeah. But there's a chance of us going to a pretty cool thing in September. But we still have other dates lined up. And then October, we're back out with Offensive in the Virginias and Maryland and Delaware. And then there's a couple other tour things that are coming up in November, and then it looks like we're going to head back to the UK in December, and wrap up kind of the Siren tour there, and head into 2024 on the Siren Rises. So the EP will come out and kind of prime you for the album, which will come out hopefully in 2024.
2024, it's gotta. We got to do it.
So, but we have some recording dates and stuff set for that. So we'll see. But it's anyone who's out there in a band understands, like, if things went as planned, it would be amazing.
Yeah. Such is the journey of music, man.
Yeah.
What's the best part and the worst part about being on the road?
The best part, I think, is like the energy and the people, because inevitably we always meet some really great people on tour. You get to go places you've never been, or maybe like wouldn't otherwise go.
See Lemmy stage right?
Lemmy, oh yeah, we were in Europe at a really cool venue called the Hive.
And they had Lemmy's bass rig.
Lemmy's bass rig on the steps, going up the steps. It was crazy.
I'll send you the photo. Walking up the steps, I look up, and it's actually
it's
his bass rig.
It's not like a replica.
The guy acquired it.
It's his.
The Murder One.
It's not the Murder One head. He had a bunch of different heads, but it's a stage used Lemmy European rig. And there's a great story. He used to give away his rigs at the end of tours. Like, he kept like the signature heads, like Murder One and things like that. But yeah, I have pictures of it. Like, we walked into the Hive, and we're going up. Actually, there's a video of it. We all had to, like, sleep. We were so tired.
Yeah, we were.
But I'm walking up, and I look up, and I'm in a haze of like not having, like, playing show after shot. I'm like, is that Lemmy's bass rig?
Well, that's what the owner said to you.
And the owner's like, yeah, that's Lemmy's bass rig, dude.
I felt bad because we didn't know he was the owner at first, and not that we were being rude, but we were so tired.
We were being rude.
No, you were being rude.
I
wasn't being. I was just like kind of.
We were
like, are you there? But anyway, so I would say definitely the places you get to go and the people you meet, because I always have a good experience with people on tour. You know, everybody's very, very kind, especially overseas. It's just like a different culture, a totally different, you know.
So the converse of that, the worst part, food, sleep, showers.
Yeah.
Maybe in that order, you can move them around like a shell game, but finding something good to eat, being able to get enough sleep, and then not smelling.
In Europe, there's good food, but then then you have also like the good and bad of touring in America versus touring in Europe. Because I do have to be kind. Like, when we went down south, everybody was super nice and hospitable too. So I would definitely say
nothing was open.
But nothing is open. So it's like Denny's and Waffle House, and this doesn't come from Denny's and Waffle House. Okay? Like, that's not how I keep
this does.
You know, like, but in Europe, I can go to a gas station and get some banging watermelon and like carrots and shit at like 3:00 in the morning. So you know,
and buy beer 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
For me, no matter what. In those three things that you specifically said, the other two could be interchangeable depending on my mood, because I can actually do a lot with very little sleep. Number one for me personally is always shower.
Right.
I'm kind of prissy, to be honest. I'm kind of a prima donna, and I really do hate to be dirty.
Dude, so clean is sexy. Clean is sexy, bro. It is.
We were playing in Connecticut. And we came off stage, and we went to the hotel.
Oh my God!
And it was 4 a.m.
You were foul.
And when we come off stage, we're covered head to toe, sweat, dirt, makeup, crap.
No, right?
Yeah, and it's like the one thing you look forward to is I'm going to grab a shower, I'm going to scrub, and there was no hot water.
Oh my God!
So it was like I got into a cold shower and just did like the basics. But like literally getting in the van the next day and
everyone smelled.
We had like a deadhead down the Delaware, and everyone stank, and it was like a nightmare.
Oh,
and
so gross.
I agree with you.
Showers.
A hot shower at the end of the gig is like worth its weight in gold.
It's always going to be my number one. So a little mini story before I kick it back up to Angel is so. And again, this is not a stop story, because like I'm happy to still be here and everything's cool. But back in 2019, when I was crossing the street, I got hit by a car and got completely shattered. So I'm very, very fortunate to still be with everybody. But everything's cool. So when I'm in the hospital healing, I was bedridden. Nothing when you're bedridden is worse to a neat freak than being like to a cleanliness freak than being bedridden.
Yeah.
Because after a while, you just smell. You can
Yeah.
smell your stuff yourself, and you're just not happy. And after a while, I was really miserable, almost as bad as the particular body parts that were getting fixed. I just was so miserable because I stank. And the first nurse, and again, everything's fine. She was great. I don't know the details. Maybe she was new. Maybe because again, and with this comment, I just mean it's a funny world that we live in nowadays. So maybe she was unsure about what to do, where to go, how to handle that kind of stuff. Even though she's a nurse, but she took care of me to kind of the best of her, maybe I'll say her comfort zone, but I wasn't mad at her. I understood. But then, a day or so later, I'm back to being in miserable zone.
Yeah.
And not long after that, I had a separate nurse who I think was just more experienced, maybe didn't have as much of a problem with anything, or was just maybe just much more of that, like in tune with her patients, where she was cool about everything. Going into places, making sure that everything's cool, making sure that everything's taken care of. And that left me in a much happier place, because then by the next time I was kind of getting desperate, I was a little bit more mobile to where I could actually get to a seated shower kind of a thing. But there definitely were moments of just sadness where I was like, I am literally just stuck to this bed, and there's nothing that anybody can do for me because I can't physically go places yet, even in a wheelchair. So my first nurse, awesome, really appreciated it. Second one, like rock star. She just knew what to do to make me happy.
Yeah, and there's nothing. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It sucks when you're stuck in a van with everyone, no showers.
Yep. So. The germ box on wheels.
Oh God, yeah. No showers, food,
sleep.
The other two will always interchange. Number one will always be constant when it comes to cleanliness.
Yeah.
Right back to you, Angel.
Next question. Do you find it harder to arrange a live set with the songs being conceptual?
Yeah. I mean, it well, it depends on who's writing the set too, because we used to get a little bit of shit from our old manager about that. You'd be like, oh, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, well, to you it doesn't, but unless people know the story from beginning to end, of like gone on and watched the YouTube videos where I'm explaining everything, or or really have like a good concept of Greek and Norse mythology, unless they know that, you're not gonna know. I feel like we put on such a strong live performance that we can keep you entertained.
Yeah, we do our best to do chronological order.
We do.
And also, like on the first album, we were touring the first album, and now we're touring this album, so we focused a little bit more on the songs of this album. So we're kind of like, you're catching this chapter and verse of the tour. And then on the next one, it'll be, we'll be doing The Siren Rises, and that'll be picking up kind of from the Siren. But yeah, it does make it difficult, especially when you get people that are, like I said, levels of fans.
Yeah.
And then, you'll have somebody ask you after the set, like, that didn't make sense because you played that song and this song. You're like, wow.
Or they'll know the songs that we played off the first album.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you played Silent Suicide. That's from the first album. I'm like, yeah.
But it belongs here.
So I mean, we always play Silent Suicide because it's a strong song. It's
fun.
Like,
and
that was a good song from the first album.
So we kind of have to balance like what we, the casual listener or fan wants to see and putting on a good show, but also kind of pay respect to telling the story. So it's a great question, because it's a difficult thing that we go through, especially in pre-production for the tours. We sit around like, you could go, well, it doesn't make sense, but it's a strong song, man. So sometimes you just gotta throw caution to the wind and just do it. So, but we do pay attention to it. So yes.
Back up to you, Jay.
Totally, no problem. So I gotta so I want to ask this question because you guys triggered the shit out of me, and I find it actually very interesting to get your take on this. And I do not know previous management for you guys, but I got this kind of brainwave, and I think it's valuable to ask you guys this. Whoa, cool. I think it's valuable to ask you guys this because we've never actually discussed this on the show, and we've had acts on our show before that have, you know, a theatrical or some type of, you know, design to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious. No disrespect to that manager because I don't know them, and this is by no means a cheap shot.
Yeah.
How does that work for a band of your style where theater, look, appearance, and musical direction is incredibly valuable? How exactly does that work when it comes to management? Because obviously managers' jobs are to look out for their clients and what they think is the best direction versus the actual client's vision of what they want and their happiness in their baby, basically.
Well, it's a little bit of a balance, but I would say that, like, most of the time I wind up staying a little bit quiet and I sort of let Sam do the talking, and then I kind of step in and I sort of, very respectfully so, and I find myself saying that a lot, like, I absolutely respect you and appreciate everything you do for us, but this is how it is. Like, this is the way it's gonna go. And unless you can explain to me with certainty and a absolute cause and effect is why what I'm doing isn't going to work, then I'm going to do what I've done and been doing and have proven to work. You know, so again, and it's not like an arrogance thing. It's not like I know better than any manager, because when I meet that manager, I'll let them take the ropes. I will absolutely bow down and be like, you go ahead. You led so-and-so to whatever in greatness. I will bow down and let you take lead. But
it's a real...
Hang with us for a second, fans. I think we're just having a... There we go. We got them. I think you guys are back with us. Actually, hey, CM, let me jump in real quick. I don't know if you can hear me. You guys are clear, but we cannot hear you at all for some reason. I'm not totally sure why. We can't hear you. So hang on just one second. Angel, you want to look into that real quick just in case it's something on our ends? But you guys are talking, but there's no sound. So hang on just a second while we check into that. So hang with us for a second, fans. We're not exactly sure what happened there. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, you guys are.
I hear you.
Yeah,
let me check real quick.
Angel and I can hear each other. We're not hearing you.
Oh.
Hang with us for a second, fans. StreamYard's good to us, so we definitely know that we'll get them, but for some reason we lost the sound. CM, Maggie, if you guys can hear me, if you guys need to log off for a second, you'll be able to get right back in. I don't know. That'll probably help just in case. So, yeah, it's... So, once...
Yeah, let me check the settings.
So, CM, I'm going to text you. Okay, they're probably going to come right back on. So hang tight with us, fans, for just a second. I'm actually going to take this opportunity real quick to plug myself. I've been very blessed and honored to be involved with MCW, Maryland Championship Wrestling. They have an upcoming fan jam, huge event at the end in 2 weeks here in Maryland. It's a combination of the Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup, which is basically their WrestleMania, mixed with what's called the Fan Jam, which is a huge meet and greet, which is and that's followed by another live show called Legacy, filled with matches. So it's a combination of July 22nd and 23rd. It's a Saturday and a Sunday. So Saturday the 22nd is the Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup. And that's, like I said, it's like MCW's WrestleMania. It's very, very important. It's a memorial to commemorate a fallen wrestler of theirs. And they do it every single year, and it's fantastic. And then when it comes to July 23rd, they're doing a full day, which is a mix-up of the Fan Jam, which is like a huge meet and greet with wrestlers, with musicians, with vendors, all that cool stuff. And then that's followed up by another live show that night called Legacy with lots more matches. So I appreciate Dennis from MCW and the MCW organization for allowing me to be a part of that in a couple of weeks. So anybody who's in the area of Maryland in a couple of weeks, would love for you guys all to come out and have a blast. The Fan Jam part of that event is completely free admission. So there's general admission for Saturday night, the Shane Shamrock Cup. The day part of the 23rd at the Fan Jam, completely free. And then the Legacy is general admission Sunday evening. So fans, come out, have a great time. Everybody loves pro wrestling. It's just a good time. It's a fan aspect. It's very much like a concert with all of our bands. So thank you to Dennis. Thank you to MCW for letting me be a part of that event. We're going to bring it back. Illusions of Grandeur. Do we have you guys back?
We're back.
We're back.
Cool. We hear you. Sounds great.
Now we can hear you.
Awesome. So Maggie, let me kick it right back to you. You left off at the time that we lost you. You were saying when you're able to have a manager who has the experience that's pushing your style, you're definitely down to them taking the reins. And I'll kick it right back to you.
Yes, like more so taking the reins. You know, somebody that, and this is like no disrespect to any management I've ever worked with, because I don't there. If you know me, which Jay, I feel like we go back a little bit. You know me as a person.
Yes.
I am not arrogant. I have no ego when it comes to this. So I'm not saying like, well, this is how it is, and I know better. Like, I'm not saying that. Okay. But if you have clout and you've led In This Moment or Korn or Slipknot or some to do what they're doing to where they are, you tell me what to do, and I will gladly go ahead and do that. Yeah. But until then, like, I'm gonna follow my creative path and do the things that I know that work, unless there's something that a management team could give me that I could be like, oh, okay, I see. That's why you're doing that. Like, that's why that makes more sense. So it's a balancing act.
It's a balance of music and commerce, art and business. And, it is. It's a struggle. She's tough as nails when it comes to the art and the business. So
you have to have poise.
Yeah. And we've worked with a lot of great managers.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Our current management team is like, but it's like coming in and trying to understand, like, it's like a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like, you're coming in and you're trying to understand, like, how do we put all these sides together so that you're touring and you're doing this. So, because there's a lot of aspects to what we do. So it's fun, but yeah, a lot of people just don't understand how difficult it is to be in a band and be on the road and to stick to your guns with your art and your music, and then also be able to make money doing it, which is very difficult to do. So yeah, we've been blessed with some great managers, and we have a great manager team right now, but it is, she kind of, the siren kind of calls the shots, and I'm grateful.
And again, it's a balance, because I do appreciate them. They're doing a great job. I mean, I just became the cover girl of Hellhound magazine out of Australia. I'm the first female on the cover. They've never had a female before. It is a physical magazine too, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So they do some great things. Like, what they know well.
Where's that magazine from?
It's Australia.
Oh, it's from Australia.
It's Australia, yeah. So I'm the the female metal queen of July, which is really cool. That's amazing. So, mad props to our management team that we have right now. They're doing a great job. So, balance, poise,
We could do a conference just on business.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The business aspect of it is a whole other animal.
Yeah.
You know.
It's especially in these times, it's crazy,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So we feel very blessed and lucky to be able to do what we do.
Absolutely, for sure. And for this next segment, I want to take it back just a little bit, just for a little bit of clarity and kind of interest into the band a little bit. We've talked about, of course, the Siren saga and the design of the first record leading into the second record. The Siren, Maggie, that's you. So I'd like you guys to actually clarify and also speak a bit on your particular personas. What was it about the design, and what was it that connected you with your both respected personas in the band? Because again, you are a theatrical band, so I think it's very important to shed a little bit of light on that.
Well, for me, I think the Siren is kind of perfect for me because off stage, I'm very much who I am. I'm calm, quiet. I'm actually I'm like an introvert extrovert. So I'm very introverted. I'm very to myself. I work out a lot, but I don't want to I'm in my own little world. And when I get on stage, I become the Siren, which is kind of like a siren. Like when you think of a water siren, they lure men to their death. They're like these creatures of, lore and beauty, and they have this amazing voice. And then when they pull you under, they turn into like the creature that they are, right? This like man eater basically, and taking their bones and making musical instruments out of them. So in a way, I'm like the siren in that like when in my own private life, I'm very introverted and quiet and calm and like keep to myself. But then when I get on stage, like I'm fierce and my theater comes out and I act and put on a show that's,
you can be scary.
Yeah.
You can be scary.
And I've heard that before. I've had people say like, you're scary, like, or I thought you were going to be a bitch. And I was like, nah, man, that's a siren. That's not me. That's like the persona, So for me, it's like very much a connection, with the siren, with the mythological siren. She's this creature of lore and she sings and she seems beautiful and quiet and, interesting and alluring, but then rah. Yeah. So that's me, So that's my connection with the siren.
And in the initial writing, we wanted to, for my character of the Archangel, we decided we were pulling for like a herald.
Yes.
And that's the thing, like we pulled from Greek and Norse mythology, but also created our own world. Mm-hmm. So we take a little liberty mixing them together. And so, there's known gods like Ares, and then we pulled in kind of archangels. And so it gives it a good width of storytelling. And I just, I don't know, I connect it with that, the winged, my back. I have wings on my back. I'm not taking my shirt off, Megan. But nobody wants.
Megan's prettier than you.
Yes. But I have.
I actually do have wings on my back too.
Yeah, I have large wings down on the one side. I'm getting a devil wing on the other side, so it's angel devil. But it just it's like mirrors life. It's kind of the herald that tells the story. So it's interesting. And it's fun to like be able to get on stage and be these characters and to write and kind of look at the music and go like how do we want to tell it? And then what she was saying earlier about like lyrical content. So it's telling a story and there's bits of the story, but then there's also parts of your personal life and like our personal life. So it's a double entendre. I liken it to like the Who, Tommy. Like you can listen to it and it's about a pinball wizard, which is the core of the story. But also, it's just a damn good song.
And that's what we hope for every song.
So,
if you don't know the story, you're still like, that's a really good song. Like, there's something that grabs you about it, the hook or the chorus or,
Yeah, there's some people that'll be out there like, the wizard along the road, but no, we get, we wanted to have some hooks, some rhyme, and some fun. So, we get to choose the characters and tell the story. And it's more fun than normal life.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Absolutely, 100% for sure. So I got one more thing to get into real quick in this segment. But fans, I want to let you guys know that it is last call for alcohol. We're going to kick it back up to Angel in a little bit. We're going to make sure that we clear the board. All your fan questions will be answered by both Maggie and CM. We appreciate all the time that they've given us, but we also very much want to be respectful of their evening as well. So we appreciate them for that. Fans, we love you guys, but it is last call for alcohol. Any questions you guys have, any comments, anything you're going to want to know, put it in right now, because Angel will absolutely address them, but it is about that time. So before we kick it up to start that final round of questions, I know everybody gets to roll their eyes in a happy place, but this is the time for me and CM to be super nerdy. But also, Maggie, you're included in this as well. Of course, if there's any endorsements you have, we absolutely want to hear about them. But CM, rig rundown time. Let's talk bases. Let's talk fun. Let's talk gear, and then we'll kick it back up.
I'm going to step over and grab
to start our final segment.
Now he's going to get them.
I know he is.
This cacophony of guitars and basses that I have.
But I could take them on a tour.
So real quick, the funny thing is, the last segment that we guys were teasing, the last segment we had where we were teasing segments, Megan was in the other room and absolutely heard what we were saying and literally shouted from the other room, "No more guitars."
I encouraged him to buy them. I'm like, "Ooh, that one's cool. Get that one." Or, why don't you sell that one that you don't ever touch?
I even said that in the segment.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to run into a good friend of mine who worked at Jackson, and he sent me this bass, and this was the first one that I kind of customized to be the Celtic bass that went on the tour. It's got little Celtic symbols, and and they kind of and so it's like I kind of made it into my own. I mean, they're stock basses, but I put my own preamps in, and this one's dusty because it's been sitting on the row of guitars over here. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Poison, Talk Dirty to Me. I have my guitars kind of lined up just outside. This is my control room. But they're my guitars. But so that's the truth. So I love Jackson instruments. I've always gravitated towards them. It's funny when you were talking about Fender. In the 90s, I was a Fender guy. I played a lot of jazz basses, but I always end up back playing with a Jackson in my hand. I don't even know how. I had an endorsement through Spectre, and I got a Spectre that I love. And I had more, but I just, I just keep coming back to these instruments.
Is there a backstory behind the J on the head? This is more of we've had this conversation and I know the answer, but guitar and bass people who are familiar with gear are probably more curious about it due to the fact that Jackson traditionally has their full name spelled out. There you go. Versus that one, which doesn't. So is there any stories that you can tell the fans about why that's a thing?
Because it's like, it's huge. And I love it. It's awesome. And like the Jackson, especially the classic Charvel, but I wanted something that just, didn't scream the brand. I wanted something a little more alluring, and it's the J bass, man. It's fucking cool.
Why thank you.
That's what I was
there.
It
is, right? It's the J bass. I love traditional Jackson basses, but this guy kind of caught my, and also this bass kind of has a little bit of an alembic thing going on for me. Like the way that the neck is positioned and the headstock and how it plays, it kind of harkens back to a lot of different basses. So I think they hit the mark, like with this bass, because up till then it was, you got a choice of that, or they're more known for guitars. But let me tell you, they have some badass.
I like your Jackson basses.
Yeah, I like my Jackson basses, and I love this model. Way to go, Jackson! And then also kind of just taking it down to something a little more simple. So
yeah, their dominant bass guy, I would probably say, if I'm being put on the spot, would probably be David Ellison, formerly of Megadeth.
Yep. I have one of his basses out here too. I'm not going to go grab that, but I'll put this one back. But there is a part of me that's a little sad because
when he played his solo tour through and played Fishhead Cantina on a show that was put on by our friend Leon. Yep. He was selling one of his signature basses at the merch booth for a price that didn't exactly suck. And there's a part of me that's like, man, you probably just should have pulled the trigger on that, but I may get another opportunity later just to have to suffer Megan's wrath later. But
his basses are badass, and he's also probably one of the nicest people you'll ever meet too.
He was so sweet. Him and Tom, his like singer / co-writer, if you're familiar with Tom, for the solo stuff that he does, they were incredibly sweet. They were really nice. I have both of David's autobiographies, and he signed them and stuff like that. Very, very sweet guy. He's a really, really cool cat. But let's so since we talked a little bit about basses, since we talked a little bit about fun, Maggie, shoot. Okay. Don't worry, fans. We got it about that time. So we're going to thank you guys in advance because it's about that time. Myself and Angel, of course, appreciate you guys every time that you guys tune in. We always have a great time. A fan comment did come up from our friend Brian. Thank you so much, as always. Every week, dude, supporting the show. He did bring up where the event was that I'm involved with. It's in Joppa, Maryland, which is in Harford County. It's at what's called the R.J. Meyer Arena. That's where all of the festivities are happening. The show on Saturday night and the fan jam, as well as the night show on the 22nd and 23rd. All at R.J. Meyer Arena in Joppa, Maryland. So, fans, I would love for you guys to come out and just rock out and have a good time. I'll be there. Megan will be there. We'll all be there. We would love to definitely see you guys. Their audio cut out for a second, so they were just rebooting. But yeah, we had him for a second and we lost him again. So thank you so much, fans, for tuning in as always. Illusions of Grandeur will be right back on in a second, and we'll make sure we get everything wrapped up with them properly. But Angel, how about yourself, man? Speak a little bit.
I'm not getting a mohawk.
No mohawk.
Yes, you are.
Say what? Oh, hell no.
Oh, man, now you got your girl on you, bro. How are we doing?
Now
we're back. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, no worries. It totally happens for sure. But so I was saying right before we lost you guys, so we had a little bit of time gearing it up a little bit with CM about basses. But Maggie, I want to give you the opportunity, of course. Is there anything specific that you use, or just things that you really love that aid you in your live performance?
Well, the whole X32 rig has been a godsend for me, being able to hear myself in ear. And when did we do that?
2019.
Been since 2019 we've been
We actually
in
don't
ear.
even use the X32 anymore.
We don't use the X32. But
now we're in Pro Tools Live.
Yeah, now we do Pro Tools Live. But the whole in-ear rig system has been like a godsend for me. I have Shure mics, and then I have I never remember because the Sennheiser. Yeah, my Sennheiser, which actually I used to be a Shure girl, but the Sennheiser has been serving me way better. I think it's just for my voice. I don't get as much feedback with it. I think
your key things are your nebulizer, your honey, and your tea.
Yeah, but I can understand different microphones.
Oh, no, yeah.
How they help my... No. So I do enjoy my Sennheiser mic, but I used the Shure mic for a long time. In the studio, I do have a Neumann.
She's a Neumann.
Which is amazing.
She's a Neumann girl when it comes to studios.
I remember when I got this. So we're in the age of everybody gets an Amazon package all the time. You don't have to sign for anything anymore. And this guy knocks on the door and he's like, "I need you to sign for this." And I was like, "What the?" And it was like a little box, it's not like some huge package. I was like, "What is this?" And I opened it up, I was like, "Holy shit, it's a Neumann from Germany." I was so excited.
Yeah, to get this model, you can't order it through a Sweetwater or a musician's friend. You have to order directly from the factory. Neumann, yeah. So I had to get it shipped to the house, and it was international shipping.
That was pretty cool.
So I was somewhere working, and you called me what the hell is this thing that you got from Berlin?
But it's magic. It makes such a difference in the studio.
It's a great mic. It's a custom. It's her mic. You know what I mean? Custom made for her.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And one other thing that I wanted to bring up that I think is super cool, because Megan and I talked about this, and I just don't fully remember if the two of you were able to connect on this at all, but because she has a very similar style. She loved your attire, because you guys have a very similar, like with the chains, like the harness kind of style when it comes to that kind of stuff. Talk a little bit about how you decide like your stage gear. Do you order it in particular from anywhere in particular, or do you make it yourself?
Well, you blanked
the
out.
Top?
Oh, gotcha. So
Okay.
I was saying I don't remember offhand if you and Megan got to talk much about it, but she and I talked a lot about how much she liked like your tops and your stage gear, because she has a lot of like harnesses, leather, chain stuff that she'll wear when she's at her job or just when she's out at concerts herself. So is there anybody specifically that you go to, or do you design things yourself?
Well, I do have my best friend Samantha, who was there that night. She does make some of my tops. So that really cool spiky metal bra one, the one that looks like the spikes are coming out of my boobs, she made that one. But I am a huge Killstar girl.
Nice.
So I love Killstar clothing. The quality is amazing. This is actually a Killstar top. So if Samantha doesn't make it, then I generally get it from Killstar. I have been known to get a few things from Amazon, like that. Actually, I think Megan and I were talking about it. That like cool top that I was wearing.
When you're topless?
Yeah, when I'm basically topless.
Yep, she's nodding right now with a giant grin on her face. She's like, we had that conversation.
Yes, that one is from Amazon. But generally speaking, I am a Killstar girl, or Samantha is so kind to take her time and put something together for me.
Nice. Awesome.
She designs all the costumes for all the videos.
All
if
the
you're watching the videos, that's Samantha Wiseman.
Samantha Wiseman, yep.
Oh, very, very cool. I mean, for what it's worth, since you guys hooked me up with my cool new patch that I get to put on it, my jackets are actually made by my friends Mark and Janet, who
that's awesome.
Who live out in California. They used to live in Salem, Massachusetts, which is where I'm from. But I met almost 10 years ago at a horror convention and loved the clothing company that they have between the two of them. And I started realizing that they do like vests and custom pants and all that kind of stuff. And not only do I love buying their t-shirts and stuff like that because they're just bitching, but I've been having my jackets made from them for years. We've had, as the Metal Summit, we've had 3 different logos. Every single logo I have a jacket for.
That's awesome.
It's my thing. I'm particular about it. You know, just like you guys, I care about what I represent and what I'm involved in, and it's important to put it out there. So at the I'm gonna whore out Mark and Janet, who actually are two-time alumni of this show.
Nice.
With rock and horror apparel. So for whatever it's worth, if you guys ever feel that some form of battle vest is needed for Illusions of Grandeur, just let me know and I will connect you guys.
Hell yeah, connect us.
Yeah, you should do it anyway. Because I'm always looking for.
I love artisan style clothing.
I so much prefer to buy stuff like that from people like that than like a huge company.
They're passionate about it.
Yeah, well, and it's like made with so much more care generally.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. I'll forward that to you guys off the air and all that kind of stuff.
Do we freeze again?
We freeze again?
For sure. Before we get into closing segments, because again, CM Maggie, we can't appreciate you guys enough. Angel, let me kick it up to you, my friend. Any final questions from yourself, or is there any final questions from any of the Metal Summoners or any Illusions of Grandeur fans that have anything that they want to say?
All right.
I have a gear question because I'm fascinated by the bass. But does it matter to you if you're playing a 4-string, 5-string, or 6-string bass?
You can play a 12-string.
I have a 12-string actually, sitting right here.
Cool. Let's see that one. Hold on 1 second. I want to see that.
He wants to make you the big picture. I'm the big picture at the moment. But he's going to give you boom.
Not for long.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom Peterson from Cheap Trick, for inventing 12-string bass.
That is now a second time that Bobby would have gone crazy, and he's missing out because Bobby has one of Tom Peterson's 12-string basses, and he's also, honest to God, he's a very close friend of Doug Pinnick, and he has one of Doug Pinnick's basses as well.
Doug is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Ty from that band it was super influential in my earlier years. How do you tune it? Very carefully.
How do you tune
Very
that?
carefully.
Yeah.
Very carefully. It's like how do you get the Carnegie Hall? Practice. Yeah, no, I grew up. My background actually in learning bass was I went to Settlement Music School. I was in a jazz conservatory, so I love 4-string. I love upright double bass. But for the style of music we play and for the tunings we're in, 5-string bass just works. If you ask me, I prefer a 4-string, but 5 strings work, and they're more versatile on tour and allow us to get to that really low A tuning. So my preference is 4-string, but utility when I go to work is a 5-string bass does the job.
Nice.
Have you had to use the 12-string bass on any material?
Oh yeah, it's on the first album a lot. Actually, I played it on the tour. It's custom made, so I try not to play it too much because getting parts for it when it does go down is a bitch. But
it's been played live.
Yeah, there's pictures on our website of from when we used to play Chameleon Club and tour around the early tours in the States. I played that bass quite a bit. It's a monster. It's also heavy as hell.
Yeah.
So it does a number on your back when you're getting into an hour and a half show, and we do headlining shows. Opening slots are a little bit easier with it.
How heavy is it?
Huh?
How heavy is it?
Yeah, probably about 25 pounds. Yeah, as where my Jacksons are about 9 pounds. So, but yeah, and I like lighter wood basses because they record better.
Oh, the bass gods are speaking.
All right, are we back?
Oh, we're back.
Yes, I like lighter wood basses because they just translate better and the strings better. I also like ferrule basses where the strings go through the body. So those, when it comes to like basses, those details are, I drive my Jackson rep nuts. It has to be this, it has to be that. There's a little too much in the 10K range. Let's work on the preamp to get that where it needs to be. But yeah, I'm a bass geek, nerd, engineer guy.
Oh, are you?
Oh no, with the EBO pickup. Does that just get the standard EBO?
Yeah, dude.
Get the hell out of here. That is make him the big picture, man.
He's getting there.
That's a big swinging dick of a bass. It's an awesome. I love EBO pickups.
Yeah, dude.
That is a traditional SG bass, dude. That's PH fat.
That's PH fat, baby.
That is cool, man.
So thank you. Thank you to Ryan for the hookup and for fixing it up for me recently too, because sometimes I get a little lazy on wanting to get things like set up and strong because I've got so much bullshit in the house that I'm always like tweaking with that sometimes I'll just be like, hey bro, don't worry, I don't care, charge me whatever you want to charge me for them, but will you just fix me up? But yeah, I just picked up this guy. I got to tell you, man, every now and then on Facebook Marketplace, you come across something pretty cool where maybe people don't realize what they had. In this case, the guy actually really knew what he had. It was actually his daughters who switched from bass to guitar and was just really concentrating on guitar, and bass just really wasn't her thing anymore. So he was like, look, dude, if it's just going to collect dust, I'd rather pass it on to someone who cares. I'm like, oh, this guy cares.
Instruments are meant to be played, and I'll go with that's a real man's bass because it's like you have to know what you're doing. Those necks are chunky, and the EBO bass pickup, man, that's the bomb, man. That's a nice find right there.
But one of the things I also really like about it is I'm about as simple when it gets to like when it comes to basses and stuff like that. I'm literally call myself a knob snob. Like, I love the fact there's only two. I have a Dean Spire that I really love, and I love busting it out for metal shows when I really feel like getting nasty. but that fucking thing's got 5 knobs on it. And I'm like, why? Like, oh, because like it's hard at times not to hit the knobs also.
Yeah, so like, I use D'Addario speed knobs, and I have locking pods, so that when I play it, I don't have to worry about hitting the volume or the tone live. They're locked in place. But for years, I played my basses. I would take all the knobs off, and people would be like, "Why do you have no knobs?" I'm like, "Because I'm not adjusting the damn thing live." You know, like it is what it is. So yeah, I do agree with you, but I'm not at the point yet where I can get them to like do internal knobs on my basses. But one day.
Yep, one day. Like my main go-to a bass that I call Lizzie, because she's my axe, and like it's my main go-to for all is actually a silver tone. But dude, she's been a road dog. She never breaks down on me. I happen to be a 4-string guy, but that's mostly because what I tend to play dominantly, whether it be glam or whether it be the kind of goth stylistic stuff that I'm into, 4 it works for me. I also, like you were talking about when it comes to the neck, I've got small hands. So like 5 to 6 string basses, unless I need to be playing them, tend to get kind of uncomfortable for me because they're actually very hard for me to grip. So I definitely understand that for sure. But 4 works for me. It's like my comfort zone and stuff like that. And also, the majority of the stuff I play doesn't tend to deal with too much drop D tuning and stuff like that. So I don't have to worry too much about needing that extra string. If I play with a band that has 1 or 2 songs that's in drop D, I'll just have another bass tuned to that.
Yeah. No, and I love 4-string basses. And let me tell you, the one thing I do love about those Jacksons, and this is a true goddamn story. We get off the plane, I open the case, it's still in tune.
Nice.
They don't knock out. Like that's that in and of itself, you know, is one of the best things about those basses. They're just really well built. But yeah, I love a 4-string bass. Believe me, if I could get away with it, I would.
Absolutely. 100% for sure. Angel, is there anything final from yourself, my guy? Is there anything final from the Metal Summoners?
Nope, I appreciate the time. Definitely gotta do this.
Absolutely. Sam, Maggie, Illusions of Grandeur. We can't thank you guys enough for spending a really good chunk of your Wednesday evening with us. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you guys giving us the time. And Angel and I's biggest thing is that you guys enjoyed yourself. You felt that your time was valued. You enjoyed the questions that you were asked, and that you felt that this was worth it for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. Definitely. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Anytime, anything that you need to push, of course, with the upcoming album, let us know for sure. Angel and I are all about it. Let us know, whether it's videos released or news that you want pushed, let us know. And if at any point you're like, hey guys, we would really love to pop on to discuss some stuff, just let us know, man. We will make time for you guys.
Hell yeah, man. That's really kind of you. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate you and all the Metal Summoners, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, guys. You're right.
Absolutely. Sounds great. Well, personally, hey, look, Megan and I will see you on Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Right on, man.
She's literally throwing up the horns right now.
Hell yeah, girl.
Drinks on me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for sure. Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much. This show exists because of you guys. You support us every single week. You give me and Angel a lot of love. You give Bobby and Steve a lot of love, and we appreciate you guys for it. We do have Metal Summit merch. We do have t-shirts. Just reach out to me. Just direct message me on either the Metal Summit, my personal page, or on Instagram. I will get it, and I will get you all taken care of. So reach out to me, guys, at any time. If you're interested in rocking anything for the Metal Summit. But before we let Illusions of Grandeur go, we can't make that segment all about us because it's about them too. Please, guys, let everybody know where you can be found, where they can find your tour dates, your appearances, and your merch.
Everything can be found at www.iogmusic.com. All of our social media links, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
All roads lead to Rome.
Everything is linked in through there. If you need merch, you can contact me directly, or you can contact the IOG page. I have been sending out merch packages and stuff recently. So that's kind of something new I've been doing. So please, if there is anything you want, let me know.
If you're in the Maryland or Delaware neighborhood this weekend, Friday night, we'll be at Oddity Bar. Saturday we'll be at the
The
Crown.
I got the information below.
Yeah, we're gonna Suicide Puppets, and then and there's a brand new band opening up at the Crown called Metalology. That's our first show, so we're kind of excited to like bring on a new band too. So it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a great evening of just theatrical metal music.
Awesome. And for the fans coming out to Delaware and to coming out to the Maryland show, is merch going to be available for you guys?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Awesome. Fuck yeah, right on. Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much. Make sure that you're following Angel Alamo at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram, as well as his personal page. Make sure you guys are following Illusions of Grandeur. And I know that both CM and Maggie are available on independent socials as well, on both Instagram and on Facebook. And I know they would love a follow, love a friend request from you guys. So make sure that you guys are showing them a lot of love. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at Just Say R&R Junkie. And I appreciate everything that you guys do as far as supporting the show, supporting myself and Angel and our personal, ventures. And of course, thank you guys so much for supporting Illusions of Grandeur. If you're just learning about them through tonight's episode, give them a listen, give them a like, give them a follow. Trust me, they're definitely worthy of it. They're good people, they're personal friends, but don't take my word for it. Judge for yourself. Check them out. Have a great time. Go out and have an amazing time at one of their shows. Just like we were talking about earlier about Pretty Reckless and Steel Panther. Go out. Have a great time at a live show. It was a long time that we didn't have any live music, but we've got it now. So make sure you guys are catching them either this weekend in Delaware or Baltimore, or whenever they're able to go out later this year on tour in support of the upcoming record. So Illusions of Grandeur, thank you guys so much again for spending a portion of your evening with us.
Thank you, guys.
Rock on, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a great night.
So well.
Absolutely. You guys as well. Thank you, guys, Metal Summoners. Support Angel, support Bobby, support Steve. And thank you so much for all the love and support you've given me. Guest announcement over the weekend. We will see you guys next week for the next episode of the Metal Summit. We appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Look out for each other. Have a great time. Support live music and just be good to each other. As always, you guys have been watching the Metal Summit.